Welcome, everyone. I'm Spencer. I'm the founder of Be Rosie, and I'm super excited to have one of my best friends from college, Miss Mary Monda Oewel, better known as Mo to me, on today as my first advocate. And today we're talking about gender stereotypes. So, Mo, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, friends. So my name is, as she introduced me, my name is Mary Monda, but I go by Momo, more specifically Mo. I am a second grade teacher in New York City. I am doing a program called Teach for America. And throughout my experience within Teach for America and moving to New York and just my experience in college, I have become very passionate about gender norms and acceptance of gender fluidity and sexual fluidity and how we can kind of break down those barriers and come into yourself and identify as whoever whatever you want, and so I'm really excited to be on here with you.
Yeah, like Mo said, we met in college. We were both on the Division One track team. We were attached to the hip, so we've definitely seen each other grow and mature. And so we both are very passionate about these topics. So that's why I wanted her to be my guinea pig and my first, advocate on. So Mo, what do you think the biggest issues in gender stereotypes are?
I think it goes like both ways when I say this, that one of the biggest issues in gender stereotypes, I think it kind of comes down to like killing confidence or creating this like false sense of confidence. I think that society in general places these ideas of what a specific gender should be. And that in turn creates this idea of like toxic masculinity versus like that weak female. And I personally feel that as a society, if we are saying that, if we're dictating that a man and a woman should do this, we're creating these like aliens of perfection and like these stereotypes. And I want people to feel free to identify and to show whoever they want to be and present however they want to present. And I think that like gender bending and gender fluidity is so important for us to talk about, but I do think that like the biggest issues is that it just creates these barriers for people. It's like a roadblock, and you really have to have a great community and a great surrounding and like friend group and family and support to be able to be your true self. And if you don't have that then it's, I feel like we have as a society has created this like roadblock where it's like, all right, can't turn back, like, or you have to like just you're stuck here, and you have to be one or the other.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, us being women and being in a sport where, there's a lot of body image issues and, people having this like idyllic image of women, I think we've both been exposed to a lot of the issues. And also, being in college and seeing how girls, feel very insecure.
Myself
And
included.
we all went through it. We all thought we had to dress a certain way and, act a certain way to get the boys or the girls, whatever you wanted. And so, yeah. So what do you think needs to be done to, remove these gender standards in our, society?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's like a couple of steps that need to happen. I do think that first and foremost, which is what I'm dedicating my life to, is education reform. I think that everything comes down to what we're teaching our kids, because they are the future of our society. Like, we can do as much work on ourselves and on the adults in this society, but that doesn't eradicate these like pre-existing, like deep internalized ideas of gender or of sexuality. And I think that we need to start young and build from there. So I think education of like breaking gender norms and really just making sure students feel that they can express themselves however they want. The other day, one of my kids was talking to one of the male teachers at my school who was wearing earrings. He was wearing like dangly earrings, and she was like, "Mr. T, you're not allowed to wear those. You're a man." And Mr. T and I looked at each other and we were like, "Oh, but sweetie, he can do whatever he wants. Like, he can express himself however." And I was like, and then I brought up the fact that like men paint their nails and how anyone can really dress however they want. And then this other little student chimed in and he goes, I wore my sister's skirt the other day. And it just made me so proud because in that moment, we had created an environment for him to feel comfortable sharing that he was, trying to slide more on that feminine side the other day. And it was really cute to see that. And just knowing that I'm a part of that in the classroom. So I think that that's something that we need to do to change and kind of break down those barriers. And I also just think that we need to change the narrative around it. So for adults, I think that we need to normalize it, talk out more. I think platforms like TikTok and social media, Twitter, have really done a great job at doing that too. I think that it's kind of normalized the idea of expressing yourself in whatever means possible because it gets you out there, gets your message out there, and you can find your own community. And I think that's really important because so many people feel oppressed and repressed in their own communities, like their homes or whatever it may be. So being able to find a community online that can support them in their expression is so important. And then it just kind of opens up this world of, wow, I'm not the only one. And I think that to continue to expose that this is not a trend, it's not like being able to express yourself however you want and not being held down by these gender stereotypes is so important to becoming who you should be and becoming who you are.
Yeah, no, definitely. And, I do a lot of work with after school programs and higher ed, and it's definitely, talking about it and integrating it into the education system. As an educator, what is your, how much does your school encourage it in your, I don't know what the word is, in your like study plan? Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually have the unique experience of working at a charter school in New York City. So one of the more liberal cities where I teach primarily students of color. And I'm lucky to be working at a school whose mission statement is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And most of us as teachers are queer or like gender fluid, sexually fluid. So the kids really do get a representation of that from their teachers. And we are allowed to express ourselves however we want in the classroom. We are allowed to talk about, for me, example, I'm pansexual. I am allowed to talk about my sexuality with my kids, talk about my girlfriend with my kids. And they're like, you can't date a girl. Are you a lesbian? And I say, well, and I'm able to express to them, like, I value this in a partner and you can love whoever you want. And I was actually given a budget to purchase books for the school that have like same-sex parents in them and have students in the books who are trying to figure out their gender and who are just like dealing with any sort of identity crisis. I bought like 15 different books about it, and we're slowly working through those during our curriculum. And I'm bringing it into the curriculum and I've been like given all of this money and support to do it, which I think is really powerful. And we see a difference already. Like the other day, one of the kids wore like a blouse. It was like this little boy and he was wearing this blouse and he looked so fashion forward and I loved it. And it's just really cool because yeah, it's awesome that I work in that situation and I'm blessed to work in that situation. I do know a lot of teachers who don't have that support, but I know I have my administration behind me and that's really powerful.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely glad to hear that. At least your school's doing that and educating and showing that, it's good to show who you are. Because I even seen you, how much you've changed as, your personality's changed since you, announced the world that you're pansexual. And, I think that's great and that you feel more comfortable. And I see a difference in you. I sent you that message when I first found out. Mm-hmm. So as a woman, have you had any experiences or anything that stands out that's like, wow, this is like a gender stereotype that's been holding me down?
Yeah, I think there's like so many to count. Like there's too many to even count. But I think something that I experience on a daily basis is the idea that females have to have kids or have this like warm heart towards children. Yes, I am a second grade teacher. I do not want my own kids. If anything, I want to adopt. And the idea that there is this expectation of the female to birth a child is like are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, totally
Like,
get it.
it's just, that just, where in this world did you just think that I was going to drop my life for a man to impregnate me so I can spend the rest of my life raising this child alone, because I know toxic masculinity is not going to allow for this man to contribute. And it's just like, come on. And so that is where I see it the most. I could talk about that forever. Don't even get me started on what's it called? Gender reveals. But I just think that there's so many stereotypes on women in terms of body types too, like you mentioned. That's super restrictive. It's every day there's these thoughts in my mind like, oh my gosh, do I look well, or do I look good? Am I fit enough? Am I skinny enough? These pants are feeling a little tight. I haven't worked out in 3 days. Am I going to gain like 10 pounds because of that? Can I have this extra cookie? And it's like, the ideas of that is, it's like infectious in my brain. And as you know, I had an eating disorder. So it's like this infectious thing. And that comes from these stereotypes of these beautiful, like skinny, double A, like perfect zero bodies models. And it's like, that's just not reality. And it's taken me a really long time to get where I was comfortable to come out as pansexual, comfortable to just embrace my body for what it is. It's taken me a super long time, and like I still have the progress. I still have ways to go, but like I think that I've built a community of people that have helped me in that. But like not everybody has that. So I do think that there's so many things pushing down on women, and I'm ready to break those.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I mean, especially with the whole, women have to have their own, children. I have a ton of, medical problems, and I don't know if I can have my own children. And, I tell people, I want to adopt, even if a miracle happens and I can have one. They're like, but you can't have that maternal instinct or that connection to your child if it's adopted. I'm just like, who came up with that?
I think the statement that, but your body was made for it.
Yeah.
Made for what? Made for what?
Yeah, I mean, that's like the biggest thing that like irks me. And, we had a friend in college who didn't want kids, and people are like, what's wrong with you? And it's like, let her not have kids if she doesn't want them. And then with the whole body image thing, I went through that with you, and, I've had to tackle that myself. And, it's trying to find a community. But like you said earlier with social media, it's using social media as a positive outlook and not, what it has been for, the past 2 decades since it's been out, and, finding a way to, I mean, I think it's slowly getting better, but, we still have that issue of, you have the beautiful, Kardashians and the, Victoria's Secret models out there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I completely, agree with what you're saying. And, we've been through a lot together, and definitely experienced a lot of those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's about having that community.
I also think it's about women using their voice. Like, I think that a lot of women sometimes feel that they're going to be stepping on someone's toes, or I don't want to generalize. I just want to say that because of gender norms that have been put on me for my whole life, I feel sometimes like I can't speak out. Like it's not my place, or I don't want to hurt someone's feelings, but like I'll hurt your feelings if I'm right, I'm right. So let me tell you something. And like,
yeah, if anyone knows Mo, she has no problem stating her mind whatsoever.
So I just think that it's important for like females to share their experiences, and to just like talk to one another about like real things. And there's this one game called We're Not Really Strangers. Have you heard of that, Spence?
No, I haven't.
So it's this card game, and it basically has 3 phases. One is just like the first phase. It's like, so it asks questions. So it's like, what was your first impression of me? But then it gets deeper each phase, and it's like all about connection and how you can make connections with anybody. And it makes me think of like how I've played that game with so many females in my life, and men, but I think specifically talking about, or like diving deep into who you are with other woman empowers each other and builds each other up. And coming from a world where we're all oppressed, we need each other. And yeah, speaking up, using each other, supporting each other, creating awesome blogs like the Rosie, yes, is what we need.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I hope we can do this again if this has, positive results.
Yes.
And definitely, trying to build it. So if you have friends that want to come on as well at the same time. But yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Uh,